One. All right, welcome everyone to the Safer and Saner at Home Summit. My name is Emily Wright and I'm with True Self Coaching and Energetics. And I am beyond excited to introduce you to our guest today for this session. She's a very special person to me, Julie Salsa. Julie Salsa is a holistic nutrition consultant and she is the owner of Whole Choice Living. Julie's approach to a healthier life is based on good quality, whole foods and herbs, food choices that are customized to each individual, and lifestyle choices that are not only healthy for us, but sustainable and good for our planet. I mean, seriously, how awesome is that? She offers individual nutrition consulting sessions, so individual consulting one-on-one, group wellness classes, and workshops. And I have to say, they are awesome. I have done one-on-one consulting with Julie, and I've attended her workshops, and she is fun, super smart, creative, and awesome. So thank you, Julie, for being here and sharing with us.
Thank you. I'm really excited to be here, Emily. And this is a really fun adventure that we're, setting our sails on. I think it's really exciting that we get to do all this together. So thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. And, and Angela, she had this dream of bringing this summit together to really connect with our community, right? And where we live and help the community out. So I think it's pretty phenomenal that we get to join together to do this.
Yes. So thank you, Angela.
Yeah, Angela, shout out. All right. So Julie, you are going to be sharing some meal planning and preparation tips with us, as well as listing foods to help boost our immune system, all of which are really super important right now.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And meal planning is something that we all kind of don't want to ever do. So that's why we're going to talk about it.
Why is meal planning important?
Well, there are four things that I want to mention about meal planning. And the first one is, to me, if I do meal planning, it kind of takes the pressure off of having to make a decision every single day to make a meal, right? This way you can sit down once, you can plan out the whole week, or it doesn't even have to be 7 days. It can be 5 days, it can be 4 days, and then you can build in leftovers too. So you don't have to make something new every single day. So it kind of takes the pressure off people that don't even like to make the decision in the first place, right? So yeah.
Totally. Like at the end of the day, after end of working, you're fried. Like I don't have an ounce of more thought in me. I have no idea what's easy, right?
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. So if you come home and you already have it all planned out, you just have to follow your plan, right? Yeah.
There you go.
So that's number one. And then you really want to display your plan where you can see it, right? So don't just write it down on a piece of paper and then put it off to the side. Like post it someplace so everyone knows too, in the family, in the house, what's getting made for the day. And it's just a reminder for you too. So I like to actually display it someplace on the refrigerator, someplace in the kitchen. No, it's just someplace for you to remember.
Cool.
So number two is, another reason why it's important is because it makes grocery shopping so much easier, right? So if you have a plan for what you're going to eat for the week, you're going to make a grocery list based on what those ingredients are that you need. So it makes shopping faster, and you're not buying stuff. Well, I buy stuff that's not on the list too, but at least you're buying the ingredients that you need, right? And then you end up saving money in the long run because you're not buying more things and then they go to waste. How many times have we gone to the grocery store, right? Bought in this food, we think we're going to make it, and then it ends up spoiling, right? I don't know if that's happened for you before.
Oh my gosh. So I don't even want to tell you what year was on the box, but we just made tacos the other night. And we're like, these shells are kind of stale. Yeah, and they were, it wasn't maybe even in 2019, we'll just say. I don't know where it came from, or towards the beginning of 2019. But and because when I get to the grocery store, I know I'm like, oh, that looks cool. Oh, that looks cool. And, I feel like I should write the thing down on the list so I can cross it out, but I just got to stick with that plan.
Yes. Yep. Stick to the plan, right? Yep. So that it helps, right? It helps us stay focused.
Mm-hmm.
Number three is, it's a great way to cook once and eat all week. So I'll talk about this a little bit later too, but I also wanted to share this book This is Cassie Jo Garcia. She's a nutrition consultant, and she went to the school that I went to. And
Joe Garcia.
Yeah, Cassie Jo Garcia, and it's called Cook Once, Eat All Week. And this is a prime example of what this talks about. You basically make your main ingredients, all of your meat and your grain and your vegetable, right? You cook it all once, or you prepare it all once, really. Like if you're gonna make a chicken, you make a whole chicken. And then like for my family, because it's pretty large, we'd have to make 2 chickens, right? But
yeah.
And it goes in here in detail, like how many servings, if you have a family of 2 versus a family of 6, you know, it goes into how to prepare all that food. So you'd cook your chicken, and then you'd use that chicken in different dishes throughout the week. So, and you're not, you know, there are times where, you know, people have this idea about batch cooking, where you cook everything in one day and then you prepare it in containers and either freeze it or refrigerate it. And that's fine. But then you're basically eating leftovers all week, right? Yeah. And sometimes that's not so fun. So this idea is you take the main core ingredients, but then you prepare them in different ways in different dishes. So you're actually making fresh meals, right?
That's super smart. I've always thought it was like, if you do the batch cooking, it's like the same thing, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
this is a great book. I highly recommend that book. And actually, the other thing that's great about this book, that they're all gluten-free recipes too. So, you know, people that are on, you know, certain diets and stuff, it's a great book. Yeah, I highly recommend that book.
Awesome.
Yeah. So that's number 3. So number 4 is it's a great way to get the family involved. You know, maybe it actually helps too, because you're not the one having to do all the planning, right? So you ask your family, you know, you ask your kids, your husband, whoever makes up your family, ask everyone else, what dishes do they want to have for the week, right? So it's not always on you. So I try to ask my kids, sometimes I just make it and I make everyone eat everything. They do a pretty good job. Yeah, so have them pick out a recipe, especially now that we're all at home, you know, have the kids get involved, right? Have them pick something out. It could be their favorite dish, or it could be something they just want to try that's new. And I really highly encourage people to get, you know, creative in the kitchen and try new things. So.
Oh, so I have 2 questions. So one, does your family have a favorite dish? Like, do the kids have, like, you know, certain kind of taste versus you and your husband, or how is that?
Yeah, well, there's one dish that I make that the kids and I really like. It's red beans and rice, and my husband hates, but he eats it anyway. Everyone has their own dish that they like, really. One of the favorites is chicken pot pie. That is one of my favorites to eat too. And we eat a lot of chicken. And Jerry, my husband, he does a lot of smoking of meats. So we have smoked chicken, and that's just to die for. It's delicious. So yeah.
Awesome. You know. Is your family pretty open to trying new things?
Yes, actually they are very open to trying new things. Yeah. And I'll mention this a little bit later too, especially with kids and getting them to eat things. You know, we are role models, right? So you have to start young. And it doesn't mean that there's all hope is lost if the kids are older, but if you're eating
no.
If you eat it, they're going to eat it, right? So if they see you doing it, they're going to do it too. So, yeah.
That's awesome. Awesome. Those are good for really important whys. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what tips do you have for us on putting all this together?
Yeah. It's a good question. So the first thing I would suggest is, before you make a meal plan, first you want to see what you actually have in the house, right? Because this happens more often than not in my house too, that we will go to the grocery store, especially if I send my husband to the store. I don't mean to keep blaming everything on him, but we go to the store and we think we don't have something and we buy more of the same thing, right? So they end up with way more food than you need, right? So take an inventory of your pantry, your refrigerator, your freezer, see what you have, right? And then see what you can make from there, especially right now, in this time where we can't be going out to the store all the time. See what you have now, and then base your meals upon that. So that's tip number one. Tip number two, when you make your plan, stick to it. Stick to it.
Good.
Stick to it. Display it, right? And you want to ask yourself these questions. How much time do I have to cook this week, right? If you don't have a lot of time, make sure you're picking really simple ingredients and recipes that have simple ingredients. What meals will I be home for? Okay, so not all of us are, having to stay in our homes. There are people that are still having to go out and they're still having to work, and thank you all for doing that, by the way. Mm-hmm. So what meals will you be home for? So ask yourself that. How many people will I be cooking for? These are all good things to just kind of take a check and see before you start planning. Mm-hmm. Another one would be, how much time do I have for batch cooking or planning? So like the batch cooking, or, you're making more food at once, right? And then reusing it. So ask yourself those questions. How much time do I have to cook? When will I be home for my meals, or how many meals will I be home for? How many people am I cooking for, and how much time will I have to do more cooking? Okay. And then another idea would be to share your ideas with your friends, right? Who says you have to plan by yourself? And this would be a great way to connect with people right now too, right? Reach out to your friends, reach out to your other family that don't live in that house with you. See what they're cooking, right? Use their recipes, right? Recipe share, right?
Totally.
And share with your friends. Maybe start a little Facebook group or something where you're sharing recipes for the week. And then you guys can, comment on what you like and, things you did differently.
I love that idea, because that's a way to grab people together too, to connect. If you started like either a Zoom meeting or a Facebook group, I mean, so many people are starting to do that now to be able to see each other. So it's a cool topic to discuss.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, I'd love it too. And then some other ideas are, make sure you have go-to recipes, right? So, like some of our family favorites, put those on your list, rotate them, but they can always be at least backups too, right? If you can't think of anything else to make one of your go-to recipes. Another idea would be to incorporate leftovers. Again, like I said earlier, you don't have to be cooking food every single day, right? You can make more and then have it for lunch. Now that most of us are home too, it'd be a great idea to use some of your leftovers for lunch. Mm-hmm. Have a theme night. That's another one too. Like every Tuesday is taco night, right? Or whatever you might want to choose. Yeah, Tuesday tacos, right? Really simple way, and you can change it up, right? Doesn't have to be the exact same recipe every time, but or homemade pizzas or something, and you can change that too. And then
we started playing with breakfast, right? Breakfast for supper.
Yes,
something fun for the kids. Oh, that's like a theme. Yeah, theme.
We do that often, actually. Yeah, well, especially to me, breakfast is one of those really easy things to make when you're short on time too, right? Eggs are so easy to cook up quick. And then one of my last recommendations too on different ideas for meal planning is make soup. I mean, soup is so easy. Like to me, soup is like my last day, or we've had all this food. I have all these funky leftovers. You throw it in a pot, right? And you make a broth, and boom, you have soup. Like soup is one of the easiest things to make. And so many people are so intimidated by soup.
That would be me. I'm like, that sounds hard. It sounds hard. You should do like a Facebook video for us, or a Facebook class or something. That would be awesome. How to make soup.
How to make soup. So easy. It's not intimidating. It really isn't. You just throw it in there and it's all good. Yeah. So those are just some ideas on how to ideas on what types of things you can do with your list. You also want to make sure you make a shopping list. So you've gone through all these ideas, right? And you have your plan. So the next thing you want to do is actually make your shopping list. So you know what you have in your pantry, you know what you're going to make, and now you just want to write out your shopping list. Okay. And you can make a pre-made shopping list too. It doesn't have to be, it's a really easy way to save yourself from writing out a shopping list every single time. Yeah. So.
Oh, you mean to type up a pre-made list or something?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. So yeah, if for some of you that know me more than others, you know that I can be kind of a planner. I guess I'm going to say it in a really nice way. Yeah. So when the kids were younger, and I don't do it as much now, but when the kids were younger, I had an Excel spreadsheet that I typed up, and you can do it in anything, but I would buy the same stuff over and over, right? And I didn't want to have to rewrite a list. So basically, I went through, this is the planner me. I went through how I would walk through the store, right? The stores I would usually go to. And it is true, you kind of want to shop the outside of the store. That's really where the healthiest food is. So, but in each section, I would have like frozen foods, you know, fruits and vegetables. That's kind of how I would section things off, right? Dairy. I would list the things in my Excel spreadsheet or in Word, whatever, the things I would buy on a regular basis, right? And I put a little line next to it. And so then all I had to do was print out this sheet, and then I would have to just check what I needed for the month, or, you know, for the week, because now I shop more often.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's brilliant. I love that.
Yeah. So you just have it, and then, you just check off what you need, or there's extra, you know, a special note, or, you know, household things that you need, toilet paper, all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Like the things that you got to have when you're in the store, you can write it in and then check it off. So then you feel like you're okay. You still got something on the list.
Yes.
If that treat looked really good, I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's just one way, especially if you're always buying the same stuff over and over again, and you have, you know, a lot of things you need to shop for again.
It saves that mental energy, right? That's what I'm thinking of. So when you're busy, you got everything going on, you got to be home, it's chaotic. That just takes away that having to think about that. Just check your boxes.
Yeah. Yep. Just check
cool.
it out.
I like that.
Your list. Or you don't have to print it off. You could actually have it, so you could have it right on your phone. You know, most, you know, phones nowadays have, you know, apps built right in. You know, you have Google Docs, or if you have Excel or Word right on your phone, you don't even have to print it if you don't want to. So
there you go.
Yeah.
Save the treat. Important. Yes. Yeah.
And then I had mentioned too, before, you want to display your meal plan just so you can see it and you know what you're going to be having for the week and you don't forget. And then the last thing is stick to your plan.
Yeah.
And sometimes just have a backup, right? You know, make sure you have one of those go-to meals that you always make all the time. Always have those recipes, or all the ingredients ready for you.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. Good. I love that idea for getting the groceries and how to do that. So with our day and age of where we are right now, right? Everybody's home and we're trying to stay safer and saner at home. Mm-hmm. How do you get your family involved with all of this as well?
Yeah.
In the kitchen or with cooking?
Yeah. Well, remember, I had said this before too. So remember, it's really good to be, you know, a role model, right? So our kids are going to always do what we do. And to get them involved, you know, one, you want to try to have them create the meal plan, right? Have them pick out recipes, right? The more they're involved in the planning, the more they're going to want to actually help in the kitchen, right? And this will all depend on how old your kids are too. So that would be one. Have them get involved in the meal planning process. Have them pick out meals. Another idea would be have them wash the produce, right? Was one thing that they could do. They could be washing the produce while, you know, someone else is starting to prep them, right? So if you're washing the carrots and someone's washing, someone's peeling, right? Yeah. You can have them, you know, help with the cutting up and prepping of the food too, depending on their age. You know, a peeler is pretty easy to use for, you know, some kids, you know, even some small kids, but, you know, maybe have the smaller kids wash the produce and then, you know, the older kids start to help cut it up. If you have a big family or a small kitchen, or kids that don't get along so well in the kitchen, have them do it in shifts, right? Have someone come in and help you, right, with one stage, and then
Oh, hold on. You had it paused there for a second. So you were saying go into shifts and everything. I paused and now I just started this again. So yeah, you were saying put everybody into shifts.
Put everybody into shifts. Okay, let's see. Put anybody into shifts. So yeah, if you mean if your kitchen was too small, that's where I left. Yeah. Sorry about that.
No, you're good.
Internet connection. A lot of people on the broadband, I guess.
Right. Totally.
Yeah. yeah, have kids come in and do different things at different stages, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then as they get older, then they can start, helping with the cooking, right?
Yeah.
And we really want our kids by the time, they're out, excuse me, by the time they're ready to graduate, we really want them to be able to cook on their own and be, fully functioning adults,
Mhm.
right? So getting them involved early is really important.
Yeah, something different than microwave meals, right? Or like getting something quick that they pop it in the microwave.
Mhm.
Perhaps that happens in my household, just saying, but
Happens everywhere.
yeah, but it is, yeah. If you can get them engaged in actually cooking a meal and doing something,
Yeah.
that's fun.
Hmm.
That's fun. It's something different.
That's right. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. So some ways to get them started to do that, like just teaching basic cooking skills. Like, every kid should know how to brown hamburger or ground meat, right?
Mhm.
Because it's used in so many recipes, right? Just even to get them to learn how to do that, how to cook rice, for example,
Yeah.
um, how to roast vegetables. Again, it doesn't have to be like certain recipes, but just different techniques, getting
Mhm.
them to learn how to, cook different ways. Yeah, it's really important. And
Yeah.
how to make soup. It's important for them to know how to make
Still
soup.
need to learn how to do that. All right. Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's a good way. I mean, I think it's important to get everybody going with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what other ways, so there's going to the grocery store, what other ways for food?
Yeah. Excuse me. I'm going to take a sip of water really quick.
Yeah.
Another good way to get the kids involved is really to start even before the food gets to the house, right?
Mhm.
Or learning where their food comes from. So a way to do this, and if you don't have a big area to do this, it'd be fun to actually start a vegetable garden if you could. It's a perfect time right now. We can't do much else. You can still go get seeds. You can start some seeds from some plants from seed, or when the nurseries get open, you can start with vegetable plants too. So it's a really fun way, where the kids really can get involved. It's a science experience, so it's an experiment too. So you're teaching science at the same time.
Mhm.
It's a good way for the kids to just know where their food's coming from. So getting the kids involved and starting a garden is a really good idea.
Is there any type of vegetables or things? So like if you're a newbie, right? Like if you haven't done a garden before, or perhaps you've done one and it's like not gone so well, what would you recommend starting off with? I know you have tons of experience with your CSA and doing the gardening.
Yeah. So we've done that for a while. And, easy things to grow. Green beans are always really easy to grow. And those you can grow from seed. And you don't even have to have a garden space. You can just even plant certain vegetables in a pot. So if you live in an apartment, you can still grow certain vegetables. So peppers are really good. And peppers, red peppers or colored peppers, are one of the foods I'm going to talk about later. Excuse me, again. They're really high in vitamin C.
Okay.
And so peppers, tomatoes, one of your favorites, I know, tomatoes.
I like ketchup. Does that count? Maybe a lot of sugar in it to make it taste good.
Those are really good plants for pots. You can even get some varieties of like cucumbers. You can just have them grow on a trellis. Cucumbers would be even an easy way to do it. And or herbs and spices, right? Herbs are a great way. You can grow those in your house even. You don't even have to have them outside. So lettuce, you can try to grow lettuce as well.
That's so smart, and I think that makes it not as intimidating. Like you just did start with like a couple pots or something like that, like on your porch or whatever. So it's not like a huge commitment with a big
Yes.
huge garden, right? That makes me sometimes nervous. So I love that. Cool.